Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and Rock God Rick Maxa.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Let's Talk Hookup here on the Mighty 1090. As you heard, first hour, Pete Gray not joining us today because he is up at Katmai having a great time, just getting started. Today's the first day of our Let's Talk Hookup trip at Katmai Lodge, and we'll look forward to hearing from him either later in the show or hopefully tomorrow if he gets a little sat phone opportunity. But, hey, we're having a great time today talking fishing with Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribute out of C4 Sport Fishing. Lots going on and lots to talk about, and we want to talk to you. If you want to be a part of the show this morning, give us a call. Very, very busy morning on the phone so far, but there's going to be your opportunity to get through. 858 area code 457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. That's our local number. Or you can reach us toll-free. That toll-free number, 877-792-1090. Again, 877-792-1090. That is your opportunity to call and get through in the action. And not only are we talking fishing, talking the Tribute, Mike's letting somebody go fishing with him. We're giving away a trip to go fishing aboard the Tribute this year at the end of the show today to one lucky caller. So again, one lucky caller is going fishing aboard the Tribute. That is your opportunity to go. 877-792-1090. Now, as promised, it's time to find out what's biting out there. Today, the Catch Report is sponsored in part by Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. Fisherman's Processing is San Diego's finest, and that's why they're known as the Fish Pros. And once you try them, you'll be hooked. They'll fillet and vacuum pack your fish, all to your specs, as well as offer the best in smoked fish, jerky, and their famous tuna burgers. Check fishermansprocessing.com for more details, or you can see them when your trip returns to the San Diego landing. Let's start it off with our fishdope.com report. The man, our private boater buddy, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge, is on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Well, guys, here we are, mid-July. Great weather, much better water conditions, lots of fish around. Let me tell you, that's a stellar combination of events, and it's paying off, and I got just enough time to hit a few of the highlights here along the coast. Some really good signal on the local species there. The spawn is on for sand bass and calico bass. They're biting the plastics up in the shallow waters around structure. They're just fun stuff for smaller boats, guys staying close to home. Barracudas are biting the iron, and giant yellows and some tanker-grade sea bass are eating the biggest mackerel that you can fly line, slow troll, or drift under a balloon along some of the kelp lines up and down the coast here. Man, there's some big fish around, guys.
That is so cool.
And at the islands, big yellows at Catalina, backside east, backside middle's kind of been best there. You do not necessarily need a squid. They bite a big mackerel just fine. A few big sea bass roaming around the island also. Frontside west is where some of that stuff's been hanging out. On the outside, both Nick and SBI are biting, as is Clemente. Backside west at Clemente's been pretty good along the kelp lines up there for yellows, few sea bass, some whopper halibuts are just outside the kelp lines, backside west there. And then going offshore, and this is where it starts getting really interesting, we've got major tonnage of yellowfin tuna around now, although the seiner fleet is doing their absolute best to thin that out. But they're biting a little better, finally. Some troll strikes on cedar plugs, rapalas, halcos, lightweight daisy chains like that. They're all starting to get a few bites now, not a lot, but some, better than none. And then casting the poppers or throwing the smaller jigs like a Colt Sniper into the spots of breaking fish is starting to work too. My friends had some nice ones yesterday doing exactly that. Best zone, Avalon Bank, 14, 277, 209, 312, like that, kind of in a line, and quite a bit of fish in there. And it's looking good. But the biggest news, without question, is that bluefin tuna bite this week, mostly because they actually decided to bite this week instead of just torturing us.
They let their guard down.
The boats fishing the kite, yummy flyer combos just walloped those big ones here the last 4 days. Of course, I had to work, but I've been absolutely tortured with guys calling in 2 fish days, 3 fish days, 4 fish days. Holy crap. Many over 200, and one reported to tape out over 300. First one, I think, ever. Hopefully, I wish they waited. It'd be interesting to see if it actually made the grade. But without question, I think this has been the best week of big tuna fishing it's certainly in my lifetime best week ever in the history of Southern California sports fishing for big tuna fish. It's just crazy the amount of fish that are around. Looks like they're maybe making a little bit of move here. It'd be interesting to see where they wind up. But, man, we got the weather. If you got the time, it is time to go fishing, guys.
Woo! Boy, that is good living right there, Mark. Appreciate you keeping such good tabs on it. And, man, we say it every week, week after week, but Danny does such a great job with that fishdope.com. Thanks to guys like yourself, thanks to the entire group of people, airplanes, all the people that are fishing, and they put that info out week to week. And if you want to go chase those big ones, man, they've got the info on where those things have been going and where they were caught the day before. It's such a good opportunity. It is literally like having a network of buddies that are just fishing for you every single day for a small fee to know right where the fish is at. It's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, he's everybody that works there at that fish dope operation is just great. And like you say, man, they're doing a fantastic job of staying on the fish, and they're doing a fantastic job of just wrecking my life because I got to work so much right now because I get so much information. I couldn't believe how many pictures came in last night when I was trying to get some sleep of what was caught yesterday. It's like, oh my God,
absolutely crazy.
Guys, listen, you guys out there, all you. That's vast radio audience, seriously, you need to go fishing, man. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, what's going on. Who knows if it'll last? It looks like it's fun to, but, you never know about such things. So go fishing, guys.
Couldn't agree with you more, Mark. Great job. Appreciate that. If somebody wants to get in on what's going on, get themselves rigged up properly for catching those big ones, get themselves rigged up for that good yellowtail fishing going on in Clemente, how do we do it? How do we find you?
Rick, you were in Huntington Beach on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger. Phone number at stores, area code 714-840-4262. The website, PacificEdgeTackle.com. And I think we're going to have a really interesting report for you again next week, man. This is just crazy what's going on right now.
Life is good, Mark. Appreciate that. Great report. If somebody wants, we appreciate it. We'll look forward to talking to you next week, man. Appreciate it very much. Thanks, Mark. Again, if you want to get that great fishdope.com, super easy. Just punch in the code Hookup Now. Hookup Now, all lowercase, no space. Gets you all the information that Mark just does such a good job compiling. Well, Danny's got that for you day after day after day. Fishdope.com. You're going to save $20 with that membership code Hookup Now at the end of when you're checking out. All lowercase, no space. Save yourself some bucks on some good fishing information. Let's head on down to C4 Sport Fishing, to the home of the Tribute, and talk to our good buddy Marcos. Marcos, what's going on at Seaforth?
Good morning, guys. How are you doing this weekend?
Good morning.
Well, we've had some good fishing this week, kind of continuation of what we saw last week. A half-day trip with a lot of good calico bass fishing, some bottom fish mixed in, seeing a few yellowtail here and there. So nice mix of fishing, exactly what you expect in the summertime for the half-day there. Three-quarter day definitely picked up also. A nice chunk of yellowtail in San Diego there. They had 111 Thursday. They had 67 yesterday, along with some bonito, barracuda, some bottom fishing mixed in there. So about everything you could want out of a three-quarter day there. Those overnight trips starting to pick up a little bit. Seen some yellowtail in there. Again, bonita, calico bass. Not a lot of tuna at this point, but hopefully that's still to come there. So definitely check the website, seaforthlanding.com. Got our full schedule up there. Those half-day trips, including the twilights running Thursday through Sunday, those three-quarter days, 1 day, seeing some 2-day sneak in there, tributes on a 2-day this weekend, some day and a half in the mix there also. So lots of options. Like I said, it's middle of July here, so things are starting to really get going, some nice weather. So seaforthlanding.com. You can give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. You can always come down and visit us in person, check out the tackle shop, pick up a rock on Rick Rexfrito and say hi.
Life is good, man. No more better spot to go fishing than C4 Sport Fishing. It's all there. Tackle shop stocked up and great opportunities. Marcos, great report, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for giving us all the great information week after week, man. We sure appreciate it and love hearing everything going on at Seaforth.
Yeah, so definitely come down, say hi, and get out there fishing.
Right on, Marcos.
Come up here.
Great report. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you then, guys.
All right, thanks a lot for that. Now let's talk to Rick Jensen from Sport Fishing Financial, has our Northern Baja report. What's up, Rick?
Hey, good morning, guys. First, I wanted to let all the listeners know that CCA California is going to have their second annual fundraiser to bolster the efforts to enhance and protect sport fishing access.
Absolutely.
I thought I lost you there, Rick.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
So the details on it are the dates are Saturday, August 26th, 26th, 5:30 to 9:30. Just like last year, the event's going to be at the historic Portuguese Hall on Shelter Island Drive in San Diego. Admission is $60 per person, which includes 1-year membership to CCA. So you can reserve a party they're $60 for one person. You can reserve a party of 10 for $600 where you can party with your buddies there. We'll have all-you-can-eat fish dinner, free-flowing craft beer and soft drinks, gigantic raffle, live auction, guest speakers, live music. So to catch up on that, go over to CCA's website and see if you can find some tickets there at www.ccacalifornia.org or find us on Facebook. Last year, this event sold out, all 250 tickets. So don't snooze and lose and wait to get your tickets at the door. It could be sold out. And then again, tomorrow there'll be more information. So tune in again to Let's Talk Hookup and hear more details on the celebration from the CCASD dude.
Yeah, well, great job. Yeah, certainly some good information, and we'll look forward to hearing more. We're going to hear from Steve a little later in the show, talking exactly more about the event, all the bullet points you just mentioned there, Rick. But a great opportunity. I went last year, had a blast. It's a lot of fun, different craft beer, and food trucks, and just a really, really good time. And way more importantly than anything else, all your dollars are going to help support CCA that are out there fishing, and they're the ones that have got your back out there. Well, Rick, what's going on the water?
Well, there's lots of good news down in Baja. First of all, down in the Mag Bay area, there's going to be 12 new patrol boats in the area. So this is a good thing for enforcement on both the sport fishing and commercial fleet, and make sure everybody's playing fair. And in that area for fishing, the water continues to warm. Lots of tuna showing up, and Bob down there says he expects to see the first wahoo in about a week or so. So if that all pans out, should be another early season for the wahoo, and exciting things yet to happen in Mag Bay with everybody playing by the rules. There'll probably be more bait in the area and be another good fall season. Up at Mulahay in the Sea of Cortez, other parts of good news there, and that they just released 30,000 tutuaba. These are the fish that are being targeted for their swim bladders by the Chinese, and everybody's been hoping that there'd be some restoration efforts. So 30,000 of those were released yesterday at Playa Sandesbac in the Bahia de Concepcion. And as far as fishing goes, the Dorado are still around, smaller ones in big numbers. Good numbers of scattered marlin and sailfish. Yellowtail and cabrilla still hitting deep baits and jigs, and lots of pargo around. Up at La Bocana, the white sea bass are still around there. The commercial guys are still getting those. A bit of wind and swell in the area, obviously, in the last week or so, and that's kept people off the water for the most part in Bahia Asuncion as well. Jeff's over at Cedros Kayaks on the island, and he says that the weather's been warm there. Some wind to deal with. Water temps there are 66 on the backside and 71 on the front side. Lots of bait and red crabs around. Yellowtail still being taken on the trolled rapalas, the max and the surface iron in the south of the island. And the calico bite continues to be strong on the reaction baits the last couple of weeks. Been doing well for that. Bay of LA, fishing continues steady. Grouper, Pargo, and Yellowtail, all three there for the taking. And the cabrilla that have been there have been in, bigger fish, a lot of good fish, a lot of big cabrilla and other grouper being taken all throughout that stretch. So interesting to see that the big numbers of big fish are showing there. So that's exciting. Up at San Quintin, good calico bite along the coast. No big report yet on whether all that bait that moved in is going to get the yellowtail going again and bring the white sea bass into the area. But good calico fishing and hoping for the bait to turn that on there. And up at Ensenada, lots of bonita around, big barracuda, small white sea bass and yellowtail, and all the bottom fish that you need. So lots going on. And Ensenada turning on, like Mark was talking about, the spawn here and the local coastal stuff going pretty good there. So that's it for Baja.
Rick, excellent job. Boy, there's some very good fishing going up and down the coast right now. Great job of compiling all that information. And certainly, as you said to the previous two, a great event coming up at CCA. And how's everything going with you and Sport Fishing Financial?
Staying busy, fishing when we can. So if you want to talk finances, talk about creating some income or growing your assets, beating the taxes, find me at 949-481-1807 or on the web at sportfishingfinancial.com.
Great job. Very, very good report. And we'll look forward to talking to you next week, and we'll certainly look forward to seeing you on the 26th at the great CCA event at Portuguese Hall in San Diego.
Okay, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Rick. Great job on the report. Appreciate that very much. That's going to wrap up our catchport today. Again, sponsored by Gamakatsu Hooks, Japan's leading fish hook that sets the standard. Whether you're using live or frozen, the most important thing to remember when rigging a squid is to use that Gamakatsu Octopus 4X hook. Nothing penetrates deeper and holds tighter. While it's true that every captain has his own tricks on how to rig a squid, there's no question on the right hook to use. That's the Gamakatsu Octopus hooks. You can get them at your favorite tackle store. Phones are absolutely packed. Everybody wants to talk to Mike. Let's jump back into him and talk to Ed, calling us from West Covina this morning. Hi, Ed. Thanks for joining us here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Hi. Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning, Ed.
I'm in the market for a new trolling reel, and I wanted to know what you guys use on the boat and what you might recommend.
You know, Akuma is one of our sponsors. They really make some really nice tackle. The way things have been lately, trolling a 2-speed reel seems really, for the most part, our standard trolling reel for years was just a standard 6.0.
Sure.
Red side plate, steel spool 6.0, worked great. But with this giant fish around, I would have to say, if you're trolling in your own private boat, there is no reason not to have. I mean, you know, just you're hanging a really nice 2-speed reel over the transom and dragging it around all day. It's going to build up salt and everything else. Just make sure you take time to clean it out, rinse it out really good. But with this big fish around, you never know when you're going to hook one of those big 150, 200-pound bluefin. The possibility is there. You need to have something that's geared up properly. You know, loaded up with 130-pound Spectra. Make sure all your connections are great. But whether it's a Shimano, Abbott, Akuma, whatever it is, the way things have been lately, I'd make sure that you have a big reel and it's a 2-speed.
If it's an Akuma, what size would you recommend?
You know, it depends. They're 16 and they're 20 are both really good reels. It's like a little bit smaller than a 30 wide, and I think I'd probably go that route. That's what we have on board, and for the first couple of years, that's what we were dragging around. They do get hammered, though. Hanging one of those things over the side of the boat for 12 hours out of the day, having the exhaust and the spray and everything else on it really is going to take its toll on any, basically any reel. But any one of those 2-speed reels, you just make sure you take it out and rinse it out really good. But we had some pros and cons with that. Great to hook a big fish on it. Just make sure you rinse them out.
That 16 is a great size, whether, like you say, you're using that Makaira or a Tiagra or anything like that, you know, that size reel, that 16 through 30 size reel. The nice thing about private boat trolling and local tuna trolling like you guys are doing, the 16 size reel is a good, strong reel, but it's at least easy to handle and easy to fish with. Maybe it's not the ideal size for winding in a cow, but for most of the fishing that we would normally encounter, big reel, 2-speed, lever
Holds
drag,
plenty of line,
but still manageable. And, you know, you don't have that big giant reel walking back and forth when you're trying to wind it into the boat. It's a really good local trolling size reel.
It is, and it covers 90% of your bases on big fish. So the only place where we really found that we had to go to a bigger reel, and I just picked up 3 50 wide, the Makaira 50 wides here recently for kite fishing. For you get that much line out on the kite, that's one thing. I'd bump up your reel size, but that's 16 for 90% of our big fish fishing, even long range fishing. It does work very, very well.
Thanks a lot for the phone call, Ed. Thank you very much. And you know, you bring up an excellent point. There's so much talk today, especially about that yummy flyer fishing. Line capacity can be king when it comes to fishing that thing. You're fishing it a long ways away from the boat, but you're not just a long ways outside of the boat. You're a long ways all the way up to the kite and then all the way back down again. And even with a large size reel full of Spectra, if you're not fishing a big reel, when that lure is fishing, you've only got an inch or two of diameter on your spool left over, and it takes some line to catch one of those big ones. I mean, you may not need a 50. If you hook that fish on the corner of the boat, you wouldn't need a 50 wides worth of line on the reel. But when it comes to fishing that thing properly away from the boat, you got to have some capacity.
Yeah, you know, an 80 is really not a bad setup. I looked at getting 80s. It's
so
a big
big
reel, so hard to handle. But
yes,
that's part of it. Is by the time you get bit, by the time you have all the line going up to the kite, back out, you already have a few hundred feet of line out. In some cases, you get bit by the time if the fish is going the opposite direction, the boat's going one direction. By the time you get everything stopped, having 300 yards or 400 yards of line out it's a real possibility. And being able to gain that line, having some, like you said, having a little bit of line left on the spool just for retrieving purposes is huge. But no, the 16 was too small. We exceeded our limit on those things a couple of times.
You hook one on a 16 straight up and down on a flat fall, no problems. But 400 yards away from the boat might be a whole other story. Hey, again, I appreciate the phone call very much. When we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, more of your phone calls, more great information from the Tribute. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
This is Greg Stotesbury from AFCO. For more than 58 years, the American Fishing Tackle Company has been recognized as the premier manufacturer of precision-built offshore fishing tackle. AFCO continues this tradition today with an innovative technical fishing clothing line designed and built by fishermen for fishermen. From our next-generation waterproof shorts like Tactical or Stealth to our new anhydrous waterproof jacket and bibs, the entire AFCO clothing line is purpose-built with the latest AFTEC fabrics and features designed to deliver for the demanding angler. To find AFCO products, go to AFCO.com and find a dealer near you.
No matter the fishing conditions, count on the Seaguar family of fluorocarbon leader material to help you catch more fish. Fluoro Premier has a smaller diameter with the highest break strength. Plus, it is super soft. When bites are tough, tie on Fluoro Premier. Blue Label is tough as nails with incredible abrasion resistance and impact strength. And new Pink Label is the choice for tough light conditions, giving you a little more visibility for better line control. Pick up a spool of Seaguar at your favorite tackle dealer or visit Seaguar.com.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar of the long-range fishing experience. A spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
Fishing is a lifestyle for many of us, and what you wear on your feet is a big part of that. So I like to live aloha and wear Olokai premium footwear. Every pair is created with the Hawaiian culture and heritage in mind, plus unique details and features. Olokai sandals are the best I've ever worn because they're based on the feeling of your bare foot in wet sand for natural heel cup and arch support. Nothing could be more comfortable and good for your feet. Olokai makes footwear for any time of day or night. My favorite Olokai sandals are the Ohana, water resistant and great for the beach or the boat. Olokai is always coming out with great new styles too, like the Nohea Moku that features a no-tie bungee lace with patented drop-in heel that lets you slide right in. And the Razor Sip bottom delivers plenty of traction on the boat deck. Share your aloha with the Olokai crew by following them on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Olokai and tagging your photos with hashtag AnywhereAloha. Olokai footwear is now available at Fisherman's Landing Tackle, Dana Landing, and other fine tackle stores or Olokai.com.
It's time to get excited about fishing, and Point Loma Sport Fishing has everything you'll need. They offer half-day and three-quarter-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit their website at pointlomasportfishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Hey, if you want to get your opportunity, talk to Captain Mike Pritchard, 858-457-1090. That's a local number, or toll free, 877-792-1090. Absolutely every single phone line is packed up, but we got a big block of your phone calls going right now, so there's going to be lots of opportunities to get through. Let's start it off. Danny in Chula Vista. You're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, guys. I just got a Tranx 300, and I was wondering what's the best way I could set that up for local fishing.
Tranx 300, certainly a very cool reel. And when you say local fishing, Danny, are you mostly doing calico bass fishing? You fishing local yellowtail, barracuda, bonita? Is it going to be a reel that you'll be doing everything with, or is this like just an artificial caster?
Oh, sorry. It's for calicos, but I was also wondering up to what size yellowtail can I pull something up with that?
Sure. Well, I would say as far as setting it up goes, it depends a little bit on what you find yourself doing the most. If you're a guy that has a private boat and nuts about calico bass fishing, that Tranx 300 is about as nice of a reel as a guy could ever go. And ideally, you'd set that reel up with 65-pound Power Pro. I really like that Power Pro Super 8 slick. So on mine, I have mine full of 65-pound Power Pro, and then I'm just fishing like a 3-foot piece of 40-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon, and that's how I attach to my lead head and swim bait or weedless swim bait. So for calico bass fishing, that's my favorite. Now, if you're also going to be fishing on a sport boat, if you're spending more of your time on a sport boat, sometimes straight Spectra, little 3-foot piece of line isn't always the best call. Spectra floats differently in the water than the mono does, and you've got issues with potential tangles and things like that. And if you're going to be doing a lot of live bait fishing with it, a cast length of mono would certainly not be a bad idea. Putting a 100-foot piece of mono on there is going to give you some shock. It's going to allow you to fish a bait away from the boat a little easier. So kind of depends on the scenario if you're fishing a private boat or a sport boat, but those would be the two ways that I would set mine up. If mostly skiff fishing for calico bass, I'd fill the thing full of 65, and if you're going to be fishing on a sport boat, I'd probably switch to 50-pound Spectra, give yourself a little more capacity, and then fish about 100-foot top shot of some mono. But again, appreciate the phone call very much. Next up, let's talk to Mike. He's calling us from Chino this morning. Good morning, Mike. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I wanted to ask Mike about that crimping deal that he was talking about, the lighter and the tag end. How much of a tag end are you leaving on that double barrel crimp? And I like to cut my tag ends real short on my knots, obviously, and for visibility and whatnot. But also, if you get the lighter too close, there's a worry to get the crimp too hot, and it might melt the line inside, compromising the integrity. What are your thoughts?
Well, when you melt the end, you can leave it out, a few inches away from the crimp. You're not heating up the crimp at all.
Okay.
And then when you pull it down, you slide the mono or the fluorocarbon through it until it butts up against the melted spot of the mushroom head of the mono.
So what he's saying, Mike, is you're burning the tag end of the mono well before you actually crimp the crimp. So this is all done while the line is loose.
Okay.
So the line goes through one end, your hook goes on, it goes through the other end, and you can pull yourself out a foot of tag end and pinch it between your fingers so that the line that's going to be in the crimp is nice and safe in your hands, and then just touch the end of that tag end to the flame balling the end. Then you slide all your line nice and tight and pull your tag end in.
Yeah,
okay, I got that.
You don't really even. It's just the tip of the mono or the fluorocarbon. Like Rick was saying, you don't even make contact with it. It's just you get it up there, and as soon as you get it close to the lighter, you'll see it start to mushroom. I usually take my finger or the lighter and tap it a little bit just to mushroom it out a little bit more. But that shouldn't affect the integrity of the line or the crimp at all.
And then once
right, because you're crimping after you torch the line. You're crimping
correct.
it afterwards. All right, that's cool. I wasn't picturing that, so that's a very good tip. I really appreciate it, and thank you for taking my call.
Hey, you got it, Mike. Appreciate the phone call very much. Thanks a lot for that. Next up, let's talk to Richard. He's calling us from Monrovia this morning. Richard, good morning. Thanks for hanging in there with us on Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So, Richard,
first is my stories on the trivia. A couple of them, Mike, last year I went out in October for a day and a half. I was more prepared for big tuna. We ended up at Clemente, and we got into smaller size or mid-sized yellowfin, but they only wanted the 20-pound and 15-pound, and I wasn't quite ready for it. And you guys were really cool helping me out with it. It was almost like fishing albacore on the size of gear, but they were 30-pound yellowfin. But a couple years back, I was on with your second on a Halloween trip, and coming out, we even had like a fake witch we made up on top, and we got into a Dorado bite where
they're eating Tootsie Rolls.
What's that?
Yeah, I know of the trip. Jake was running that trip, but they were eating Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, Tootsie Roll wrappers, actually. Tootsie Roll wrappers on Halloween night. We had the Dorado, and then we plugged the bill of yellowfin, too, and then we punked the next 2.5 days. The only complaint is we ran on a Sculpin IPA. The only criticism I've got.
That's some damn fine criticism.
If that's the worst of it, and running out of Sculpin is a horrible thing. So.
That sounds fun, Richard.
It caused some machinations there, but we dealt with it.
That's cool.
Hey, and then, Rick, I got a question for you. I just picked up a Calica 16 2-speed from the long fin at the Shimano event.
Nice.
And will that pair with an Axis 780 XH, or do you need a little heavier rod than that?
No, I think that would be a great rod for it. That extra heavy is certainly a good rod. It'd be plenty fine to fish 60 and 80 pound on, which I think is pretty ideal for that TAC 16. I think that would be a fantastic outfit. Plenty long enough to fish the rail, not too heavy, fairly soft tip section if you're fishing a short top shot where you don't have a lot of stretch. I think that'd be a great choice.
Perfect, guys. That's what I needed.
Richard,
thank you so much.
Appreciate the phone call very much. Hey, it's coming up soon, so make a note. Our next San Diego County Ford Dealers remote broadcast. It's Saturday, August the 5th at North County Ford in Vista. It's your next chance to qualify for the two big grand prizes. Prize one is a Hobie Mirage Drive kayak from Fast Lane Kayaks in Mission Bay, along with a trip to Cedros kayak fishing on Cedros Island. Grand prize number 2 is a 4 nights fishing package for 2 at Palmas de Cortez in the Baja's beautiful East Cape, including round-trip tickets from San Diego to Los Cabos on Alaska Airlines. Be sure to click on the Alaska Air banner on the front page of the letstalkhookup.com. You can also win a trip aboard the Blackjack, courtesy of Dana Landing in Mission Bay. It's your own Blackjack charter that you and your buddies are going to get to go on. A Shimano rods and reels, Maui Jim sunglasses. The prize cowboy is going to be there as well with a ton of great stuff just for showing up. Don't forget, you're going to have 2 different chances to win all the grand prizes, including the trip to Palmas de Cortez and Alaska Airlines and that Fast Lane Hobie kayak and the Cedros kayak fishing trip. Check the guest page at letstalkhookup.com for the rules and details. We're going to see you Saturday, August 5th at North County Ford in Vista. Phones are packed. Let's jump back into them and talk to Mike, calling us from Laguna Niguel. Good morning, Mike. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I wanted to talk. You've heard from others how good the fishing is on Tribute and the way the crew works and together and takes care of the passengers, and I certainly want to second that. Mike, you've been mentioning light loads, and I've been looking at that, and I think that one thing that a lot of people, the average fisherman out there, is looking at, and they're not seeing fish counts. And you said earlier, and I know it's true, you guys are fishing, period. You're not just trophy hunting. And guys get out and they don't want to be on a boat with 30 people and see 3 fish caught and not have a chance to catch one. Is what it comes down to. So I think it's really important that the message get out that you're fishing and you're going to, if you come on a fish, a school of 20-pound fish, you're still going to stop and you're going to catch those tuna.
Oh, by all means. I mean, that's we're not going to change what we're really made for, and it's. Whether it's school-size yellowfin, yellowtail, Dorado, and we're starting to see more of that. It's not the lack of fish this year, but yes, there has not been big counts, especially with some of that big bluefin. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that we're not hooking them. You can't land them.
That's a big part of it.
There's been days where you hook 7, 8, 9 fish and you don't land any of them, or you might land one. But you're starting to definitely see some more of that. And yes, there's been some extremely light loads, and we're like I said, the boat yesterday had 12 people. Last night it left with a really, really light load on a 2-day trip, and we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep it going. There's plenty of fish around, and yes, we are definitely fishing for everything. And really, it's not, like I said, not the lack of fish, it's the lack of biting fish, or in the case of that bigger bluefin, just trying to land them. But like I said, last weekend, very, very good fishing. Very, very good fishing. We had a charter with 22 guys, 220 yellowtail. There was some yellowfin, bluefin, and Dorado mixed in. And I haven't heard from the boat yet this morning, but you're starting to see a lot more of that. So you're going to start seeing counts improve. And, early July and June for the last few years have really not been the best. Unless you're out there fishing for one of those big bluefin, which has been phenomenal. It's just, fishing for that and even hooking them, you do not see big counts because trying to hook them in general is tough, and then trying to land them is next to impossible in some cases.
It definitely feels like this last week is when our true summer season kind of got rolling, just as you described on your 2-day. Good yellowtailing, good kelp patty fishing, school-sized tuna around. It seems like what hopefully will carry us through the rest of the summer and into the fall is kind of just really starting to happen in our zone.
It is, and it's funny because you get all the naysayers, and it happens almost every June, early July. Oh my God, there's nothing coming up the beach. There's no sign of yellowfin, and that stuff usually just shows up.
You flip a switch and everybody's got 100 fish.
It's not necessarily coming up. The long range boats aren't seeing it. Whether it comes in from deep water, it comes in from out west, it just shows up, and it's starting to show up. So I think we're gonna be in pretty good position here.
Good call, Mike. We appreciate the phone call very much. Look forward to seeing you on your next trip on the Tribute.
Absolutely.
Thanks, buddy. All right, next up, let's talk to Brian. He's calling us from Wildemar. What's up, Brian? Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Brian.
Great. Good morning.
I think everybody else that's been calling has been named Mike.
Yeah, right.
Ricky, since ICAST just passed or whatever, is there any other honorable mentions that you heard of from ICAST, from Penn, Accurate, Daiwa, whoever?
Some cool stuff, for sure. I wasn't at the show, but I talked to Doug quite a bit yesterday, who was there, and as far as new things that we're going to be having in the tackle store, that Torium 14 was the one that we were probably the most excited about, the most relevant for our market as far as reels of our size, but a lot of other cool things. I know Penn's got the new International that they redid, so that'll probably be a cool one as it comes out. There's a really cool bait receiver that we found for our private boat guys. Little on the spendy side, but definitely the nicest private boat, bait receiver I've seen yet. And we're going to have those in about 2 weeks. And let's see what else. There's a lot of cool things that were there. I don't think a ton that were necessarily for our immediate thought. Some cool stuff that's going to be coming back out at Fred Hall show. Shimano's got that new Corrado K series, so they did a revamp of the Corrado. That's going to be a really cool one. A couple of cool jig bags. So definitely some cool stuff that I got the word from. I think that it'll probably all start filtering. It'll probably all start filtering its way here in the next few days. But yeah, definitely some cool stuff, and we'll look forward to seeing it as it rolls in.
Sweet. And then I also had a question for Captain Mike.
Go ahead.
On that trolling reel setup you just talked about, are you dragging straight Spectra? Are you dragging 200 yards of mono on that reel? I mean, I was wondering what to do when setting up a trolling reel.
On something like that, you definitely want some mono, just for the shock factor. You don't. Fishing straight Spectra can be great in a lot of cases, but if you're dragging a jig around at 7 to 10 knots and you get bit, you want to have some stretch in there, at least in my opinion. Spectra's great. You can leave it on for years. It's funny because Rick and I were just talking about that. I think I have a 50Y that's had Spectra on it for about 15 years, and it still works great. But you want to have some mono. You want to have, I'd say, at least 50 feet or so, just for the fact that you get bit, you have drag. If it's set properly, you're not ripping the fish's face off or ripping the hook out or breaking it off at the knot. You definitely want to have a little bit of stretch in there.
50 feet, 100 yards. I just didn't know what to do. So that's what I was looking for.
And I mean, if you're in your own private boat, you don't have to have a lot, but you definitely want to have enough to where it can stretch out a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you. I haven't been on your boat yet, but you already answered my other question about the stateroom, so I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate the phone call. So if somebody, you were mentioning the staterooms earlier, if somebody's going with their wife, going with their kids, something like that, somebody that would be appropriate for the stateroom, how does that go about? Is it a first come, first serve thing? Do they just talk to you or talk to the office guys? How does that kind of work out?
The office does not assign the staterooms. There's a couple of factors. They are deck level and they are up forward. I won't assign them if the weather's choppy, just because you don't want to be coming out of a stateroom up in the bow if it's choppy. It's something that you want to get a hold of me about. You can email me at mike@tributesportfishing.com. You can leave a message with office, and it depends. I mean, a lot of people want the stateroom. Some people want the stateroom for basically no reason. If it's a family group, if there's kids, all of our bunks are individual. Every one of them has a curtain on it. It's air conditioned. Our bunk room is very, very nice. In some cases, if there's a young kid on the boat, you want to try to keep it, keep the family together. You have a lady on the boat who doesn't want to sleep next to a bunch of stinky fishermen. We don't stink that bad. I mean, come on. But it's one of those things. Just leave a message at the office, or you can email me, and we play it by ear. Like I said, if it's choppy, I'm not going to put somebody up there. But just email me, let me know, and or same kind of deal. If we've had guys come out that are in a wheelchair, have knee problems. There's definitely circumstances that make staying in the stateroom more practical. So just let me know about it, and we'll play it by ear.
Perfect. All right, appreciate that very much. Have a great time on your trip, Brian. Next up, let's talk to Chuck. He's calling us from Dana Point this morning. Hi, Chuck. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking my phone call. Glad the tip on the mouth in the end. Now, on a Yummy Flyer, when the guy gets hit, can you drop back a Yummy Flyer? And then the flat fall, what's the new thing? Can you still just reel through them or yank through them? Because I got some with bite marks.
Dropping back a Yummy Flyer, I don't know. I haven't heard of it working. I don't think anybody's tried it.
I think you'd probably be much better just sliding back a live bait,
a sardine or a flat fall.
Yeah, exactly. Flat fall for sure. That's a good call.
Just fish the flat fall, like we were saying earlier. It's gonna. I mean, Shimano's done such a great job with that thing, and the fact that I heard of, a swordfish being caught on one a week and a half ago, they obviously catch everything. And as far
I got every color. I got the hook change. I got the bite leader. I got them with bite marks like if somebody did it with a scribe. That thing must have chipped a tooth or something. And I reeled through it, didn't hook them. So that's why I was asking this.
There's
any hope of just yanking them like a TV show host, or should I keep reeling through them still?
Yes and yes. I don't think there's a wrong way to fish them. I'm not pushing Shimano. I'm not necessarily. This is just from actual experience. There's almost no wrong way to fish them. It used to be you'd see somebody come out with a rent rod, and they'd have a jig on it. The first thing you'd do is tell them to cut the jig off, and you'd set them up with a sardine rig or something like that. But I've, especially the last few years fishing bluefin, somebody will go, well, how do I fish it? And say, well, that guy got bit on the sink, that guy got bit on the retrieve, and that guy got bit just holding it in gear. So, yes.
Yes is the answer. The going back to what you were talking about with the bite on the Yummy Flyer, I know the Liberty had a big day fishing the Yummy Flyer. They had 6 big ones the other day. This was a few weeks back now. A couple of their fish came on rubber banded sinker rigs while they were pulling on their on their Yummy Fly. So they'd catch a big one on the kite and they'd go to work, start putting that in, and half of the guys would fly line and the other half were putting rubber banded sinker rigs, and they picked off a couple of those 100-pound fish. Just if there's clearly fish in the area, if you're hooking them on that kite, and there's no reason not to be rubber banding the sinker and and try all the different ways you get it. So
last year was egg sinker 200 feet down with a live squid. I got a 130-pounder. My son Chuck got a 90 that way.
That's awesome, Chuck.
Nobody's doing that this year yet. So
well, maybe you're gonna have to get it started.
And hear great things about the boat. So good luck this year.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it very much, Chuck. Thanks for that. Next up, let's talk to Charlie, calling us from Gardena this morning. Hey, Charlie, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good morning.
Got a couple questions. First one would be for Rick. Was wondering on your 130 hollow, and you're going to set up a trolling rig with it. Can you tie the hollow directly to the swivel? And the next question for Mike. I'll be on your boat Sunday night on a 2-day. I was wondering if you could just maybe tell me what we might be doing, and I'll know what to set up for. Thank you.
And this is part of our seminars here lately. Tackle anywhere from 20-pound to 100-pound.
That's crazy.
And that's the thing, is we're fishing for fish anywhere from 5 pounds to 300 pounds. So make sure you bring a good assortment of gear. Make sure you bring your flat falls, fluorocarbon, hook size anywhere from a number 1, or number 2, just in case we're fishing anchovy, which anchovy and that small yellowfin starts showing up. It could be a really, really good way to go. So hook size anywhere from a number 2 on up to like a 5-odd. Bring some sinkers, whether it's egg sinkers, and then some torpedo weights on up to about 8 ounces. I mean, it's the way we're fishing here lately. If you're fishing in the dark, you might be fishing an 8-ounce sinker, rubber banded on to 100-pound, and then during the day fishing kelp patties or whatever, you might be fishing 20 pounds. So definitely you want to have a decent assortment of gear.
What pound leader do you want on flat ball?
I personally, I'd say anything 100 pounds and up, 100, 130, 150, nothing really lighter than that, especially for fishing in the dark. Getting bit on those things, I don't know how many fish we've seen lost here in the last couple of years. Somebody gets bit in the dark and they're pulling on, even on 100 pound, those things have no problem chewing through it. So I'd bring some like 130 and 150, whether you're going to, anything over 100 pound, I recommend crimping. And we covered that pretty good earlier. If you don't, if you're not really comfortable with crimping, bring your stuff down and we'll do it for you.
There you go. Good call.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Bob, appreciate the phone call very much. Or Charlie, rather, appreciate the phone call very much. Tom in Temecula, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hi, Tom.
Morning, guys. Morning,
Good morning.
Mike. Mike, I got a question. You know, just watching how this season is progressing based on how last season progressed, do you see a lot of similarities? You know, last year we didn't have the yellowfin really, I don't think, this early. And do you look like, you know, August is going to be where the switch is really flipped? And then as far as albacore goes, you know, I've been kind of monitoring some of the West Coast tuna boat fisheries reports up north off Oregon, and there's been a lot of you know, really low days, whereas, you know, in years past, you know, they've really been starting to kick it into gear this time of the year. And with some of that stuff off Central California, do you kind of think that there might be still a shot for albacore maybe swinging in a little bit later in the season?
Yeah, you know what? I was talking to Buzz Brisbane from the Prowler about a week and a half ago about it, and he's really keeping track of it, and he said, you know, as far as the water setup goes, there still is a really good chance that we're going to see some. I know there's fish a couple 100 miles outside of Monterey. It's not, I mean, usually it was, you know, if not by the 4th of July, or the 4th of July was when you start to see them. I've definitely seen some years where we see them August, even in September. I think I said it at the end of last season, early this season, we're probably going to see a little bit of albacore, but I think next year's probably going to be, I mean, as far as, you know, history goes, next year's probably going to be a good albacore year. I mean, we got our fingers crossed. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we get about 10 years of it.
Yeah, we're ready for it.
No, we are definitely ready for it. So I still think there's a good possibility of it. And as far as the yellowfin goes, you know, we had, I think one of the trips I ran in May, we had a few yellowfin, and then we had a day where we had like 5 of them. And then it's kind of come and gone. They're really nice, great fish, but I think this is really the first week that you start to see some of it down around anywhere from 50 to 90 miles. And I think it's just a matter of time here in the next week or two. So, yeah, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of that. August, September, October, November have been phenomenal for the last few years. We're starting to see more charters book in October and November, but some of our best fishing really has been really outside of summer. I mean, it's fall fishing, and it's been very, very good. So, you know, saying our normal fishing season used to be June through October, I'd say, you know, November, December, the way it's been. So cool. I think it's going to really pick up here in the next couple of weeks.
You ready to go, Tom?
You bet.
We appreciate the phone call, buddy, very much. Thanks a lot for that. Next up, let's talk to Ed. Ed's calling us from Mira Mesa this morning. Hi, Ed. Welcome to the show.
Hi. My question's for Mike. He pretty much answered it the phone call before, but that yellowfin coming up, is it caught off the patties, or is it just kind of a blind meter mark on that? And what are they actually eating now? Are they still eating that red crab?
There's red crab, and there's lots and lots of anchovy around. Usually early season, when you first see it, it's not necessarily, it seems like it takes a little bit of time for it to get in and really get situated on kelps for whatever reason. And same thing on dolphin. You know, you get areas of mammals like that, but we've already seen some of that where some of the dolphins had yellowfin mixed in with it. We've seen a lot of the yellowfin mixed in. It hasn't necessarily bit on areas of dolphin like that, but it's and it's funny to say that it's moving up, because like we were talking about earlier, I don't necessarily know if it's coming up the line. It's just it's either coming up out of deep water or from the west, and thankfully we're starting to see some of it.
For sure. Ed, appreciate the phone call very much. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what lucky guy is going fishing aboard the Tribute. We got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. You stay tuned to the Mighty 1090.
Yellowtail and Bluefin are here now, and it's time to go fishing. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. The perfect rod to handle tough fish like these is Terramar from Shimano. The secret? TC4 construction. That delivers a rod that is light and sensitive, yet tough and powerful. Shimano Terramar should be your next rod. Fisherman's Landing Tackle has the best inventory in the country of Terramar rods and the experts to help you select them. Visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego or on the web at saltwatertackle.com. Fisherman's Landing has been the choice of sport fishing anglers for decades with the largest fleet of long-range boats worldwide, complemented by Southern California's finest charter and open party fleet. From a half-day trip on the Dolphin, overnight trips, and soon 3-quarter-day island trips on the Liberty. You can count on Fisherman's Landing to deliver the best. Check the website for all that is going on or call Fisherman's Landing at 619-221-8500. Book now at fishermanslanding.com.
He's not just my fishing buddy. After 30 years, he's a brother, and I'd sure hate to lose him. His bass boat's got nothing to do with it. So I make sure both of us wear a life jacket. Save the ones you love, even if they don't own a fancy boat. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
For East Cape fishing, Jen Wren is known as the best. This is Mark Rayer. Great service, top quality equipment, including all accurate reels, CalStar rods, and Cibrian electronics, has put my immaculately maintained twin-engine cruisers in a class of their own. For memories of a lifetime, just bring your hat and sunglasses, and we'll provide a fishing experience that will exceed your expectations. Our calendar's filling fast, so don't miss out. For packages, 2 live webcams, a weekly fishery report, and more, check out TeamJenWren.com. We pick up at all East Cape resorts, so let's go fishing.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. You're at the big winner going fishing aboard the Tribute with Captain Mike Pritchard is going to Chuck in Dana Point. Chuck, congratulations. You're going to have a great time fishing on the boat. Mike, I know this is a super busy time of year for you, and we sure appreciate hiking you off of the boat so you can come hang out and talk fishing with us for a couple hours. But, man, some great info and great stuff going on in the Tribute. I can't wait to go. If somebody wants to get in on all the good fishing we're talking about, whether it's going to catch a trophy bluefin or continuing as this summer kelp patty, yellowtail, yellowfin, and dorado rolls on, how do we do it?
Well, you can do tributesportfishing.com, seaforthlanding.com. You can take a look at our Facebook page. It's Tribute Sport Fishing, or give Seaforth Landing a call at 619-224-3383. And the boat yesterday had some bigger yellowtail that's up on our Facebook page. And like I said, I haven't heard anything yet this morning, but the way fishing was on our 2-day trip last week, we definitely have some high expectations. Some really Tuesday night's a really light load, only a couple of people booked. And then Wednesday night's a definite go. Plenty of room left on that trip. Thursday night, same. And then Friday night, we have a day and a half charter. But with this stuff starting to really show up, starting to pick up, now's a great time. Totally. Once this really gets going, we do sell out usually about a week in advance. So hopefully this yellowfin, this dorado, and the water is warming up great. So, I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of really, really neat stuff happening here in the next week or so. So, like I said, seaforthlanding.com, tributesportfishing.com, or 619-224-3383.
Awesome. Great job, Mike. Great show. Appreciate that. And we really appreciate what a great job you do keeping us filled in on your Facebook page. I know you update it with photos all the time, and we always appreciate you're one of the best guys out there at keeping us updated here on Let's Talk Hookup, because we all like hearing you from the water. So we sure appreciate that, and appreciate you coming in and BS and fishing with us for a couple hours today.
Of course.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, we got another great show for you coming tomorrow. Captain Ryan Boston of the San Diego is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking local 3-quarter day. Lots more great stuff coming your way. You stay tuned tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.